Hello guys and welcome to the new Holy Paladin talents have been here. Don't look at these talents. Don't look at what I have here. Everything's basically broken. Most of the things are completely... They just don't work. It's a very early iteration of Holy Paladin. I just wanted to showcase some of the new talents that are making a comeback. Some of the new dungeons. We have 3 warriors in the party. There's quite a few things coming back. Glimmer is back. Blessing of Summer. Do you like? I don't know. Divine Toll is back. Love it. Tears Deliverance. I mean, how many people wanted this to come back from Legion? There's a lot of things because you have to look at it. If you're playing Shadowlands right now, you're probably playing Necrolord, Vanquisher's Hammer. Vanquisher's Hammer is not coming back. By the way, there's no Vanquisher's Hammer. I have 2 Wings talents, so I'm not sure how strong Wings are going to be, but in Alpha right now, there's a lot of things that are broken with Wings, so I'm actually not sure if it's 2 minutes. I do have 2-minute Wings, but I'm not sure how powerful they're going to be. They're still 20%, at least it seems like, but I'm not going to talk about it too much because I think a lot of things can change. But if you're playing in Shadowlands, if you're playing a Holy Paladin, you're playing Necrolord, Vanquisher's Hammer. You're playing a build where you're basically pressing Wings on cooldown. You're pressing Wings on cooldown and you're using your Light of Dawn to get cooldown reduction. Both in raids and basically Mythic Plus. Your Wings is no longer this oh crap button. I'm gonna be doing insane amount of healing. It's no longer that. It's more like, hey, it's a ability that I need to have a high uptime of. And if I have a high uptime of this, I'm going to be able to, you know, do a decent amount of healing. And I have a high uptime of Wings in Shadowlands with Necrolord build because you have your tier sets and all of that. So that's one of the builds that Holy Paladin is going through right now in Shadowlands. What's the other build that he used to have? He used to have the good old... Okay, I'm gonna use light. I'm gonna use my... Okay, these mobs just die instantly. But another build used to be Ashen Hollow. Ashen Hollow, the part where Holy Paladins were absolutely overpowered at the start of Shadowlands. You used to have your Ashen Hollow and your Wings was a lot stronger. Your Wings would do more damage, more healing and everything. And you would combine it with your Ashen Hollow and you would be like insanely strong healer / DPS. But if you mess up that cooldown, you're screwed. It's over. So you would be the most cooldown dependent healer in the game, but if you use your cooldowns properly, you would be absolutely insane. So which is the right playstyle to approach in Dragonflight? Should you be cooldown dependent? Or should you be a type of healer that has high uptime of Wings, and by having high uptime of Wings, you therefore Wings loses kind of like, you know, value, but you have way more consistent damage and healing? Or do you want to have spike damage and healing? What is the better playstyle? This is something I'm asking you right now because honestly that is the biggest part of the discussion. In terms of other talents, you'll probably notice that the right side has a lot of things like Marat's Dying Breath. It has Double Beacon, which I feel I want to pick up in Mythic Plus. I want to have Double Beacon in Mythic Plus as well. It's just that I'm not level 70, so it's a lot harder for me to pick it up. But I do want to have Double Beacon. You can see that the right side has a lot of things to do with Light of Dawn, has a 10% chance to create a second cone. Light of Dawn increases the range of your Light of Dawn. There's a lot of Light of Dawn talents. So this is my opinion about Light of Dawn. I think Light of Dawn is something that is more suited towards raid content. It's just way easier to use Light of Dawn in raid. I never enjoyed Holy Paladin being a hard casting healer. Like, I know a lot of people are gonna ask me, and this is another hot button discussion. What about ranged build for Holy Paladin? I know there's a lot of people who would like to have the possibility of having a ranged Holy Paladin. I know there's a lot of people who would like that because I think it stems from the fact that in Classic you had ranged Holy Paladin. I think there's a lot of things, but I'm not a huge fan of hard casting or having to hard cast Flash of Light, having to hard cast Holy Light. I've never been a huge fan of it. One of the best things about Holy Paladin for me has been the fact that you have so many instant cast abilities with Holy Shock, with Crusader Strike, generate. Like, look at the amount of things to improve your Crusader Strike. You have Crusader Smite, you have double charges of Crusader. You have another thing that Crusader Strike also grants you primary stat. So there's a lot of talents in here that give you or make your Crusader Strike more powerful. So I feel Blizzard understands that Crusader Strike, and a lot of people do enjoy that instant cast playstyle. I think it's really fun. I think the fact that you can have so many abilities that don't have a hard cast or cast associated with it, and you can output good healing and DPS, is only a good thing. So I hope they're not going to go away from that. So as I mentioned before, you have a lot of talents on the right hand side that do with Maran's Dying Breath, with to do with Light of Dawn, which again, I think the Light of Dawn is really suited for raid content. I'm not a huge fan of Light of Dawn in Mythic Plus because just making sure that you can hit people with Light of Dawn, especially if you have a ranged party, can be really awkward. I think if you're, and it's one of the reasons why I wasn't a huge fan of Necrolord Vanquish's Hammer build in Shadowlands, because, or at least in Mythic Plus, because wings have less impact. You have way higher uptime of wings because you're able to use Light of Dawn and get cooldown reduction, which are tier set and stuff like that. But hitting people with Light of Dawn in Mythic Plus, even when people are full HP, feels really awkward. I think the fact that you can spec out of Light of Dawn in Mythic Plus content or spec into Light of Dawn in raid content is a really good option. I think it is a good way of approaching talent trees. Do I think that the talent trees are amazing for Holy Paladin? I think they're okay. I don't think they're the worst talents. I don't think they're the best talents either. I think there could be a lot of things changed. I do like the fact that Divine Toll is making a comeback. I'm not a huge fan of things like Of Dusk and Dawn. This used to be a legendary Shadowlands. I don't think it's the most amazing gameplay, but I don't hate it, I don't love it. Anyone who's looking at talent trees right now and they're like, they're okay, they're not the best. This is the way that Dragonflight talents are working. You can spend 20 points into a tree and just be back to a point where you are in Shadowlands. Because most of the trees, most of the talents or nodes and things like that, they just bring you the abilities that you have already in Shadowlands. So I can see why people are disappointed by some of them, because there's very few talents that are new. Barrier of Fate is new, but it doesn't work, so I can't test it. So there's very few things that are actually completely new to a class. The same can be said for Resto Druid. Basically, Resto Druid is almost the same kind of thing that you have in Shadowlands, but you're just getting more abilities. You can combine more abilities. So I can see why people are kind of disappointed with some of the trees that are like, yo, I'm not getting anything new. The thing that I don't like, and it's making a comeback, Infusion of Light is making a comeback, but the way that Infusion of Light works, it reduces the cost of your next flash of light, or it gives you a holy power, or holy light, holy power generation. I never liked the change that they did for Infusion of Light to do with flash of light. Reduction of mana cost to flash a light, like, come on. I think there could be something more interesting made about that. Like, if you compare Infusion of Light to Resto Shaman, like, Resto Shaman is the exact same concept with Tidal Waves. It's the exact same thing, except for Tidal Waves, you don't have spell cost reduction, because it's not exciting to have flash a light cost less when you have Infusion of Light. It's not really that exciting. I genuinely never liked that change. When they made it, I was like, what are they doing? I don't think anyone will actually like that. But I genuinely think Infusion of Light could be reworked again, because I think there could be some better changes made to it. But that's just my personal opinion right now. You can let me know if you think the Infusion of Light, when it was changed in terms of mana consumption, was good or bad. And I think there's a couple of talents that people are relatively scared about. Blessing of Summer being a support type of healer, I think it scares quite a few people. Because if you're playing Holy Priest right now, I think there's no better comparison to being a support healer than Holy Priest is right now in Season 4 Shadowlands. If you're playing Holy Priest right now, you know that you're basically, even in Mythic Plus, if you play Night Fae, you provide PI, which is huge damage increase for DPS. And you also play Night Fae in certain cases, and you provide cooldown reduction to DPS classes. So Holy Priest is like, in Season 4, is basically a Bard type of player. And the fact that they're bringing back certain abilities to do with support and group support is an interesting point of discussion, because I think there's going to be people who really like that concept, where a healer is not only there to heal DPS, but is also to provide substantial support. And by support, I mean providing extra DPS to your party. Not to yourself, but to your party. And I think the fact that they're bringing that back is interesting. I really want to know your opinion about this in terms of, do you think that is something that all healers should go towards? We know PI is making a comeback for priests, so priests are going to have PI, and PI is always going to be a strong ability to be used. I think if you want to play Holy Paladin, you have to be a type of healer where you enjoy melee, because let's be honest, there's a big kind of discussion between ranged and melee playstyles. But I always said Holy Paladin, the fact that you have Crusader Strike, you have talents that give you 2 charges, Crusader Smite gives you primary stats from using Crusader Strike. The fact that you have so many things that make Crusader Strike a strong build means that Blizzard wants you to be melee, or at least it is a melee healer. The fact that Holy Paladin counts as a melee character, that in majority of the content that you do, you're not going to get ranged abilities, ranged possibilities on you, shows you that Holy Paladin should be a melee. That's my honest opinion. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, what about range playstyle? I want to stay in range. I want to be casting Flash of Light, Holy Light. This game has 2 melee classes right now, Mistweaver Monk and... or at least 2 melee healers right now, Mistweaver Monk and Holy Paladin. It's not a bad thing. I think if you enjoy being a melee healer, playing Holy Paladin or Mistweaver is the right choice for majority of people. And if you don't like that playstyle, I think it's better to pick another class. Should there be a range playstyle? Like, there's so many different things to talk about. I think genuinely right now, Holy Paladin, if they keep a similar gameplay, especially in Mythic Plus, where you have instant cast abilities, Wall of Glory is impactful to use, you have, I talked about like Sacrifice, Blessing of Sacrifice, 1 minute cooldown feels really, really cool. Bunch of talents that increases your damage, again, healer damage does matter, so that makes a point. You have Mad Paragon, which also procs off your Judgment. So that's really cool. You also have Sanctified Wrath, where Avenging Wrath lasts 25% longer and causes Judgment to generate additional holy power. I think the fact that they're making Judgment a bigger part of your rotation through a lot of these talents, including them in Sanctified Wrath, including them in Mad Paragon, I think that should have been in live servers, because it makes the rotation more smooth, it makes Judgment a better ability to press, and I think it just makes sense. Do I think this is the best tree out of all the healers? Probably not. I think there's a lot of healers, like I think Resto Shaman tree, for me, still feels like one of the best talent trees or talent tree that I've seen, but I don't think this is a bad talent tree. I think you can change a lot of things. Don't look at the notes that I'm picking here. Most of the things here actually don't work. Like, for example, Aspiration of Divinity gives you strength instead of intellect. Things like that. Like, a lot of the things don't work here. And don't look at the talent trees. They're going to change. But where is Blizzard going with Holy Paladin in Dragonflight? Like, the fact that they're bringing Blessing of Summer, the fact that they're bringing Divine Toll and things like that. I think Divine Toll is really nice. I think most of the Holy Paladins out there are going to love the fact that they're getting Divine Toll back. I think most of the Paladins out there are going to love the fact that they have Glimmer of Light. I think Paladins are going to have a mixed response to Blessing of Summer. I think some of them are absolutely going to hate it. Some of them are actually going to love it. I think Tears Deliverance is not super exciting. I don't think if there was an ability that you would bring back from Legion, I don't think Tears Deliverance would be the main thing that I would want to bring back. I think the fact that Blizzard has broken up the tree into like, hey, this is Light of Dawn type of playstyle, I think that's interesting because, like I said, I don't think Light of Dawn represents Mythic Plus. I think Light of Dawn represents raids, or should represent raids, and I think Word of Glory should represent Mythic Plus. I think instant cast abilities should represent Holy Paladin in the majority of the content, because who doesn't like having abilities that are instant cast and you can maintain your DPS and healing rotation by just doing instant cast abilities? I think that's really fun. I think the fact that Marads is making a comeback is also really nice, because I think majority of Holy Paladins enjoyed Marads build in raid situations. I think it was an interesting build with Light of the Martyr. Again, instant cast abilities, not a lot of hard casting. I personally don't want Holy Paladin to go back into hard casting role where you're hard casting Flashlight and Holy Light. I think you should only cast those when you actually really need it, or you can't go into melee. So basically what it is like live right now. That's my personal opinion. I want to know what you think about Holy Paladin. I want to know what your thoughts about where should Holy Paladin go. What do you think about a range playstyle? Should range playstyle be an option? Do you think what did Blizzard miss out on? Should Ashen Hollow make a comeback? Should you be cooldown dependent on wings, or should you have high uptime of wings?